Mhm, mhm, mhm. What is going on, everybody? Thanks for joining Big B Dailies. We are live and coming at you every day, Monday through Friday. So I guess not every day, but Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Thank you guys for joining in, man. Let's get this thing going today. TikTok, we're live on TikTok, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So, what's going on in Arkansas? What's going on? What is happening? So, we got a show. We're going to start off with a little bit of news, which is what we do every day. Starting off with a little news, we'll go to a little Q&A afterwards, get everybody involved, have some fun. You guys know how I do it. So, first thing is, I know I don't talk a lot of baseball. I don't because my Mets have been out of it since the end of May. So I don't talk a whole lot of baseball. However, the thing about it is that ugh, Ohtani getting hurt. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I mean, I don't know how much money did he lose, man. Hold on a second here. All right. Sorry about that, man. Yeah, I had to clean up some stuff on the back end. Sorry about that. All right, let's get back to it. So let's talk Ohtani, man. So I don't know how much money did that cost him blowing his elbow out like that, man. 500 million to 300 million. Woo! I mean, here's the thing. You got to, I mean, he's got to have the surgery. That's what I was talking to some people earlier today, and they're like, oh, well, he's going to hold off on the surgery. I'm like, but what makes him him is being able to do both things. The Angels are out of it. They're not winning anything this year. You got to have the surgery. Because if he puts the surgery off and then just holds off and waits, how long does it take for him to get back to him being him? And I know people look at Bryce Harper and say, hey, Bryce Harper just hit. This is a different situation, though. This guy's not Bryce Harper. He's better than Bryce Harper. So I don't know, man. I don't know. The Angels, what do you mean? The Angels aren't any good. You know it. They're as bad as my Mets. The Angels are as bad as my Mets. So, mm, mm, mm. Let's get that part of it straight. Bad as my Mets. And the Mets are terrible. The Mets are terrible. So I don't know how much money that cost them, man. There's a lot, though. There's a lot. There's a lot. So next thing. So I just that's correct. I think he's got to have the surgery now. I think he's got to have the surgery now. I mean, he's never going to sign back with the Angels. I mean, we all know that. He'd be crazy to sign with the Yankees, though. Although the Yankees are going to throw literally Fort Knox at him. But I don't know. I'd like to see him go somewhere else. I know he's going to get a ton of money. I mean, I live in Dallas. I'd love to see him come to the Rangers. I'd love it. And the Rangers would be very good. I'd love if he did that. But we'll see. We'll see. So next up, man, Corey Davis. We got a lot of guys that are retiring early. I mean, Corey Davis is retiring. Um, he retired early. He just stepped away, and you know what? I'm done. He's done playing football. Miles Jack. Miles Jack done playing football. Guys 27, 28 years old that just said, you know what, I'm done. And in my eyes, I'm like, good for them, man. Good for them. You know, there's a lot that you can do with your life that 27, 28 years old. I know a lot of people say, oh man, you can't make a ton of money or you can make a ton of money. I'm like, if you can't figure out, those guys have probably made between, after everything's said and done, actual cash around $8 to $9 million. If you can't figure life out on that, that's a you problem. That is a you problem. I mean, you could literally buy a house, live off the extra interest for the rest of your life and be just fine. And not just fine, you're doing well. So good for those guys, man, that just saying enough's enough, I'm done. Good for them. Good for them. Chris Jones, that's another topic, man. Chris Jones, I don't know. I don't know, man. He's talking about holding out games. Y'all know me. I am 100% pro player. We talked about it yesterday. Get as much money as you can, but don't cut your nose off to spite your face, man. You can't be sitting out games when the Chiefs have drawn a line in the sand. They're not going to budge. And even if it costs them winning football games, I think the Chiefs are just going to be like, here's what it is. You either take this, don't take it. We're not budging. And I think he's got to take it. Or if he doesn't want to be there anymore, he's still got to come in and play. But to give up that kind of money, I mean, he's not sitting out 8 games. If he sits out 8 games, number one, he's got the worst agent and the worst financial advisor in the history of mankind. My goodness. You know, those guys, it wouldn't be worth a damn if they allowed him. Now, he's his own man, don't get me wrong, but if they do anything but tell him you need to play in football games. And again, you still got a couple of weeks. It still could just be posturing. I get it. You got time. There's been plenty of guys that got on the franchise tag. He's not on a franchise tag, but there's been plenty of those guys that sit out all of camp, sign the week before the season, and come in and play. Lots of guys have done that. So, Juedy carted off today with a hamstring injury. Whew. And man, that's tough. I was just talking, and I mean, a hamstring injury, I mean, they can be slight or it can be brutal. And for him to have to be carted off, man, it must be bad. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping that it's not. This is a big year for Juedy, man. Huge year for him. Big year for the Broncos. I think the Broncos got a little something. But we'll see. We'll see. But I think the Broncos can make some waves. I don't think they're playoff waves, but I think they can make some waves. Anywhere between that 7 to 9 win range. I think the Broncos can do that. They can get there. They can get there. If Russell Wilson plays decent, I mean, because last year he was awful. Awful. If he can play decent and that line can play a little bit better, I think they can do some stuff because you know their defense is going to come to play. So, but we'll see what happens, man. I saw Isaiah Simmons got traded. Isaiah Simmons, he's a guy that I think a lot of people are saying he's a bust. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I believe what happened to Isaiah Simmons, they never gave him a position to master. Okay, it's one thing to do that in college, moving all over the field. When you're one of the best athletes on the field, that's easier to do. You know, you can move from safety to slot corner, to linebacker. You can do all those things. When you go to the NFL, hey, pick a position and master that position. And that's something that the Cardinals didn't allow him to do. Maybe it's because he can't or couldn't. I believe he can. I believe when he moved to safety this past year, I think that's his best position. I think Isaiah Simmons, that is his best position. I really do. And I think he'll be good at the Giants. Wink Martindale, the guy knows how to coach defensive football, man. He does. He does. And last bit of news, and I think this is big newsworthy. I wanted to keep this for last for you all. Kobe Bryant getting a statue. Oh, Kobe. Now let's talk about that for a quick second. Is Kobe the best Laker? Is Kobe the best Laker? Is he the greatest Laker? I mean, is he better than Magic, Kareem, Shaq, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor? Is it Kobe? A lot of people say yes. A lot of people say no. Look, personally, I think I don't. People are never going to say Kareem because Kareem didn't start out in Milwaukee. I don't think that he's better than Kareem. But if you're just talking about a Laker, then I think that it's him and Magic. And you know what? Why does somebody have to be better? Can't I just say that they're both equal? You know? Now, as far as best basketball player, Kareem tops both of them. He tops both of them. But if you're just strictly talking Laker, and only Laker, I mean, it's hard to beat Magic and what Magic did. And then it's hard to beat what Kobe did. So everybody is so into somebody's got to be better than him and that. Sometimes those arguments just get tired and we forget to just enjoy what we're watching. You know? I mean, that's my thing. It's like, I like watching good basketball, football. I like watching good sports, the ones that I'm interested in. It doesn't always have to be that this guy's the greatest of all time. First of all, that gets played out so much that people talk about it. I'm getting on here. Guys are telling me that John Stockton is better than Magic Johnson. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? We'll just say anything. We'll literally say, people will say anything. Oh, you think Magic Johnson or John Stockton is better than Magic Johnson? What are we talking about? Oh, my goodness. I don't know. But I like Kobe getting a statue. I love Kobe getting a statue. I love it. I love it. I love it. Kobe was that guy. He had that mentality. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying he's the greatest basketball player ever. He doesn't have to be. But I can love Kobe. I can love LeBron. I can love Michael Jordan. I can love Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I can love them all. And I think more people should look at it that way. You can love Steph Curry. You can love everybody. Love everybody. Doesn't have to. I mean, now, when it comes to teams and who you root for, hey, all bets are off. All bets are off. Look, you are never going to convince me to say nice things about another team. Look, I'm a Steelers fan. I don't care for the Ravens or the Bengals. I don't even think about the Browns. So you're never going to hear me say nice things about them. Ever. There's got to be some little rivalry, doesn't there? But even Magic respected Bird, and Bird respected Magic. Oh, by the way, Larry Bird is my favorite basketball player of all time. I'm biased. I grew up an hour and 20 minutes from where French Lick is. But I grew up in the city. Don't get me wrong. I grew up in the city. But I'm biased. But Larry Legend is my favorite, and that's the reason why. Second favorite is Oscar Robertson because he's from Indianapolis, and I'm from Jeffersonville, Indiana, which is across the river from Louisville. Whether or not you think those are the best players of all time, I didn't say that. I said those are my favorite. And I think a lot of people get confused with that. A lot of people. So I think people got to start talking about who they like, what they like. It doesn't always have to be the greatest of all time, man. So 5,500 likes in TikTok. That's the goal for today, man. We are crushing it early. I appreciate y'all. So the one thing is, we're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. You want to come on over to YouTube and check some stuff out? Let's come check it out. Last bit of news that happened. It just happened. Steven Strasburg is retiring. Yeah, I saw that. That guy hadn't been able to pitch at all, the last 3 years, really? I mean, his arm is just completely finished. I mean, when you start having pain in your neck and your pain in your shoulder, I mean, that's a problem. That is a problem. I feel bad for the guy because he's not that old. I know he's pitched for a while, but he's not, I mean, basically hadn't pitched the last 3 years. But once they won that World Series, his shoulder and arm just said, "We are finished. We are completely finished." So, I mean, for a period though, how good was Strasburg? I mean, again, I'm a Mets fan. I mean, and he shut us completely down. I mean, but how good was that guy? Whew, he was good. Man, he was good. So, all right, let's move on to some other stuff. Again, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. If you're on TikTok and you're not giving me a follow, please give me a follow. Anybody, fall on over to YouTube. Come subscribe over there. We got the chat going. The chat is popping today, as always. So let's jump on over, see what we got, see what is going on in the chat. Let's see what is going on in the chat. Let's start over here. First thing is, we're talking about some running backs. And we're doing a little GOAT talk today. I know said we didn't always have to do that, but we're doing that today. We're talking about the best running back. Who I think the best running back of all time is. Well, to me, the best running back is Barry Sanders. I know a lot of people think other guys. I'm going to be looking in the chat to see who you guys think. Start throwing names out there. A lot of people. Walter is my number 2. I don't care what anybody says, and I'll go down my list. I'll have it memorized. Top 5. I do top 5. I don't do top 10 because it gets so subjective when you start getting to 10. Let's just do the top 5. Barry Sanders, number 1. Number 1, Barry Sanders. I don't care what anybody says. Okay. Number 2, Walter Payton. Again, I don't care what anybody says. Walter Payton, second best running back ever. Number 3, Jim Brown. Jim Brown. And yes, Jim Brown played with guys that he was just as big as. Jim Brown was that guy. He was that guy. Give him modern, everybody said, well, put him in today's game. Give him modern medicine, technology. Jim Brown would have been 260 pounds running a 4.4. I mean, and then what were you going to do about it? Nothing. So I like Jim Brown. Not Emmett. No. So that's 3. Number 4, Eric Dickerson. You're talking about pure running back, vision, speed, size. Eric Dickerson. When you're just talking running back, I'm not sure there's anybody else that had all of that entire package like he did. Eric Dickerson, outstanding running back. And that was when they gave you the ball 35 times a game. Go win us a game, running back, Eric Dickerson. And then the last one, it's tricky for me. It's tricky. I like Marshall Faulk, and I also like OJ. And I like LaDainian Tomlinson. But here's the thing. Faulk, in my opinion, was a better LT. He was a better LaDainian Tomlinson. Because I think he was a better pass catcher. Although LT could catch the ball, I think Faulk was better at doing that. And he was just as lethal running the football. So I have Faulk above LaDainian. But OJ, the juice. The juice. Now look, OJ is a murderer. Allegedly. So, but you got to leave all that out. You got to leave that out. OJ is a despicable human being. We got to leave all that out. Just talk about what he did on the football field. OJ was that dude. OJ was that dude. He was that dude. So, I don't know. Man. I don't know. But if you have to hold my finger down, I'm going to say Marshall Faulk at number 5. You know, And there's a lot of guys, Ladanian and LT, or not LT, Ladanian, you know, Adrian Peterson, Emmett Smith. Look, I know there's a lot of Emmett Smith people, a lot of Cowboys fans. No. And if you're being honest with yourself, you know that Emmett Smith is not better than any of those guys that I named. That doesn't mean that Emmett Smith isn't great. Emmett Smith was a great running back. Let me repeat that. Emmett Smith was a great running back, but Emmett Smith is not better than any of those guys. He's just not better. I just, there's nothing wrong with being great, but having other guys be better than you. So, and like Bo Jackson, you can't count Bo. I like Bo. He played 38 football games. Come on, man. What are we doing? 38 football games is not long enough for you to be qualified as one of the best at doing something. It's just not. It's just not. Heck, there's guys that have led the league in rushing. You wouldn't consider them one of the best. I mean, that they led the league 1 year in rushing. You're not going to consider them the best. Well, Bo played just over 2 seasons. He's not in that conversation. He's not in that conversation. So, but Bo was great, but he's not in the GOAT conversation. Put him in a conversation for greatest athlete. Then you're saying something. Or best college running back. Although best college running back is still Barry Sanders, Herschel Walker. You can throw in Bo. You have to have Tony Dorsett and then Ricky Williams. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Reggie Bush, great. Not in those guys' class. And the reason that I say that, he split carries. You think Barry Sanders was splitting carries? Nope. Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, were they splitting carries? Nope. Biggest play of your career in the last game of your career, you're not on the football field. You think Barry Sanders is off the football field? Nope. Herschel Walker, Tony Dorsett, Ricky Williams, you think that? Nope. That's all I'm saying about Reggie Bush. That's all I'm saying. You can say it's coaching, but the bottom line is those 5 guys are not coming off that football field. Number one, they're getting the ball. They're getting the ball. 4th and 1, 4th and less than a yard, they're getting the football. Reggie Bush wasn't even on the field. That's all I'm saying. And I love Reggie, but he's not the best college football player. He's not. He's up there. He's definitely up there, but he's not the best. But moving on. So talk about cornerback. Now, a lot of times cornerback is easy. I mean, Deion. I don't think should be a debate on who the best cornerback of all time is. I really don't. It's Deion and then everybody else. Deion and then everybody else. The second best cornerback, and people can go back and forth, but they need to do some research. If you don't think this, it's Rod Woodson. And say it, Brian, you're a Steelers homer. Yeah, I am. But I also know football. Y'all know that. Think about how good Rod Woodson was. And I know a lot of people in here, especially on TikTok, if you saw Rod Woodson, you saw him at the end of his career. He was playing safety, which he's a damn good safety. But Rod Woodson was an absolute beast. A dog. First of all, when he was in high school, he was a world-class hurdler, 110 high hurdler. That's number one. Rod Woodson was an athlete. Superior athlete. Very good. Very good. So it gets tricky when you start talking about that. But like guys like Richard Sherman, I'm like, he's not up there. Let me ask y'all this. Here's a hot take. And I usually don't do hot takes, but I want to get some conversation in the chat going. Darrelle Revis. Good, great, or did he just have that one 2009 season? Because if you're asking me, I think he was a great corner, had that great season, but do a little bit more research on those seasons. Like they talk about he shut down T.O. twice. Well, that was Buffalo T.O. I mean, do you think that he's shutting down Cowboys T.O., Philly T.O., San Francisco T.O.? I don't think he is. Randy Moss was past his prime. You know, he shut down guy. I'm not saying he wasn't good, but do a little search on that. And I don't know. I'm not trying to take away his greatness, but I think that we overhyped that season to put him in an upper echelon of guys that I don't know that he belongs there. I mean, there's guys like Lester Hayes that don't get the credit that he deserves. Mel Blunt, he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. I mean, there's lots of guys that are out there. It's subjective. I don't really even have a list. I have a top 2 and then everybody else. Because I think that Dion is clearly number 1. Clearly number 1. I think Rod Woodson is clearly number 2. Clearly number 2. Then it's a debate. Champ Bailey was good. I see in the chat. Champ Bailey. I like Champ Bailey. He was good. Not good. Great. He was great. Ty Law was great, but Ty Law's not in that conversation, though. Ty Law, I like Ty Law. Great football player, but you're not going to put him in that. He wasn't the athlete that these other guys were. He wasn't that kind of athlete. Good cover, smart, knew where to be, played well in his system, did his job at a Hall of Fame level, I might add. But he's not. There's rooms. Like Dion said, there's rooms in the Hall of Fame. Dion's in a room. Dion's in a room with Tom Brady, Lawrence Taylor, Barry Sanders. That's their room. Then there's other rooms. You know, Ty Law's in a different room from even that, but still in the Hall of Fame. That's okay. That's okay. So let's turn it up the chat a little bit. Again, we are live on TikTok, live on YouTube, man. If you're not following me on TikTok, please give me a follow. Jump on over to YouTube as well, man. The chat is going. The chat is going. Uncle Matt's over here. He's all by himself. Let's see. Let's open up the chat. Let's open up a little Q&A. Let's get it going. Let's get it going, man. So what are we talking about? Lawrence Taylor is the best linebacker ever. Lawrence Taylor is the best football player ever. Let's make that clear. Yes, Lawrence Taylor is the best linebacker ever. He is. But Lawrence Taylor is the greatest football player ever. And I'll tell you why. Lawrence Taylor literally created a position. And I don't mean outside linebacker. He created left tackle. Left tackle, they used to just put anybody over there. Just working stiffs, guys over there that were unathletic, just big. Until Lawrence Taylor came around and literally started crushing your quarterback. Started destroying, just wrecking whatever you were trying to do on the offensive side of the ball. What goes unnoticed, if you watched any film, Bill Belichick always said Lawrence Taylor is one of the smartest football players that he's ever coached. Knew exactly what to do, when, could break down film of opponents. Lawrence Taylor, greatest football player ever. Ever. And I know quarterback is the most important position, and it is. But that don't mean you're the best player. And especially the way the rules are right now, that don't mean you're the best player. That don't mean you're the best player. There'll be another time to talk quarterbacks. We'll do that next week. I'm off tomorrow. Got to run out of town, so I'm off tomorrow. So I apologize for that. But Lawrence Taylor, man. Lawrence Taylor. So we're not talking about what Lawrence Taylor did off the field. So we're talking about what he did on the field. Because if you want to do that, there's a lot of guys that did bad stuff off the field. Tons of guys. Tons of guys. But we're not talking about that. And we're not talking about what kind of guy he was. We're talking about how good he was as a football player. Stay focused. And OJ, you're right. OJ was a dude. I mean, he was. He just was. So, talking about LT, brother. That's who we're talking about. Thoughts on Cam Newton? I mean, Cam Newton had a shelf life. What happened to Cam Newton is what I'm afraid is going to happen to Josh Allen. And let me tell you why. Cam Newton had a strong arm. Wasn't the most accurate guy, but he had a strong arm. But he ran the football. He was big. And Cam used to run through linebackers because he was just as big, if not bigger than they were. And it didn't last that long because you can't take a beating. Why do you think running backs don't last that long? I mean, it's not rocket science. And yeah, Cam's a big guy. But here's the difference between him and Big Ben. Big Ben was shedding guys to throw the football, taking hits. Guys would bounce off of him. Big Ben was a big guy. He was throwing the football. Big Ben wasn't running you over. Big Ben wasn't lined up and they're running quarterback power with him. That wasn't what he was doing. Controversially, Big Ben played a long time. Cam Newton didn't. That's why. Cam Newton's body, he'll never say it. He'll never say it, which I don't know why. It's okay to admit it. Cam Newton's body broke down on him. His body broke down. He wasn't any good anymore. Couldn't do the things that he used to do. Couldn't throw the ball with the velocity, especially the accuracy. He was never the most accurate guy, but at least he had an arm. I mean, Cam Newton could throw the football. But then he lost it. He got hurt, and it was all over. So, RG3 ran too much? Yeah. He wanted to be a pocket passer, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what that whole deal is. You hear two different sides of what was going on. I think he got hurt. He got hurt. And he kept getting hurt. Sometimes your body just doesn't hold up. His was a body that didn't hold up. Just didn't hold up. Let's see. What else we got? Nothing over on YouTube, chat. Y'all are on YouTube. Let's get it going over there. And if you're over on TikTok, you want to jump on over to YouTube, do that, man. Let's check it out. What do we got? Am I still calling Pickett Baby Hands? Absolutely. Baby Hands Pickett is his name when it comes to me. I'm not calling him anything but that. Baby Hands Pickett. And hopefully he leads us to the promised land. And y'all knew that I was 100% out on him when we drafted him last year. Y'all knew that. I made multiple posts about how mad, how upset. But I saw him get better. I saw him get better last year, man. So if Baby Hands can get better, as a Steeler fan, I can suck that up. So I accept him as our quarterback. He seems like he's getting better. Let's do it. Why be mad? What am I going to do about it anyway? He's our quarterback. I got to suck it up. Somebody put in here on TikTok said that AB is the best receiver of all time. No, he's not. But AB was really good for a 6-year run. But he's not the best receiver of all time. Now, having said that, if you take his whole career, I don't know that you can say that AB's not in the top 15, definitely in the top 20. So, But he's not the best receiver, though. Not even close. Not even close. Yeah, definitely in the top 20. He's absolutely in the top 20. Absolutely. Did too much for too long at a peak level. A peak level. I mean, other than, yeah, just at a peak level. I don't want to compare it to anybody. I mean, you can, but the game changed. So they pass the ball a lot more now. But AB did it. And he ain't the biggest guy either. I mean, it's not like he's 6'2", 210. He ain't that big. So, what else we got? What do we got? Deebo Samuels is a top 2 receiver in the league. See, now look. Y'all, I try to be as nice as possible. Y'all know me. But you also know when you say nonsense, I'm calling you out for your nonsense. Okay? Stop it. Stop saying that. Okay? Now, Jason, I'm not even going to say your last name, Jason, because I'm not in the embarrassment yet. But Deebo is not a top 2 receiver in the National Football League. He might be a number 2 receiver in the National Football League. I can go with that. I can go with him being a number 2, which sounds about right for what he does and what his skill set is. He's a number 2. But if you really dig into Deebo, I mean, last year you can say whatever we want, whatever. He wasn't focused, blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line is he doesn't have number 1 receiver features, I guess. He just doesn't do that. They play him everywhere because he's a Swiss Army knife, and he's extremely good at doing that. But you're never going to put him in a top 10 of wide receivers. You're not going to do that. You're just not. So, what is Deebo's last name? Samuel? Boop, 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 boop. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Now, here's a good question from Golf Hawk over on YouTube. Najee Harris over under on 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Well, here's the thing. He's gotten over 1,000 yards the last 2 years, so I think that sticks. I think he gets – now, his problem is he averages 3.8 and 3.9 a carry. But I think he gets 1,000 yards. The touchdowns, that's tricky. That's tricky. But with a better O-line, and he would be the goal line back, 10 touchdowns is not out of the question. So I would go over on this. I would go over. What do y'all think? What do y'all think over on TikTok? Najee Harris, over under 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Don't think so. I mean, he's got 1,000 yards the last 2 years. And the Steelers' offensive line the last 2 years has been an abomination. Just been an absolute abomination. It's been horrific. Not to mention, he had a plate in his foot the first 8 weeks of last year. And he still got over 1,000 yards. So, 1,208 touchdowns? Yeah. Sounds good. George Pickens, 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. That's not going to happen. People got to slow down on the George Pickens train. They got to slow down. I love him. I think he can be one of the best receivers in football, but he's not there. He's not close to being that yet. Route running, separation, he's not in that class yet. He's not in that class yet. He can get there, but he's not there yet. He's not there yet. Rashee Rice, let's see him play one regular season football game first. I got faith in my Steelers. I got faith. I'm just saying, let's be real. Now, y'all know me. I'm going to be honest, and that's honesty. George Pickens is not in that class yet. Heck, is George Pickens even the best receiver on the Steelers? I don't think so. Deontay Johnson is miles better as a route runner. Let me repeat that. Deontay Johnson is miles better as a route runner over George Pickens. Now, the problem with Deontay Johnson, he tends to have skillet hands from time to time, which is a problem. That's a problem for a receiver, But truth is truth. So we'll see. We'll see. What else you got, man? Got a few more. Time for a few more questions. Will the Steelers win the division? No. Steelers aren't going to win the division. I wish they would, but they're not going to win the division. But I think they make the playoffs. Talk about the Seahawks. I got the Seahawks. You missed it. The Seahawks are winning the NFC West. That was last week, or not last week, earlier this week. Seahawks are winning the NFC West. They're going to beat the 49ers. They'll be better than they are. Geno Smith gets it done again. They got a better defense. Their offense. They got a new running back to complement Walker. I like the Seahawks. I like what they're doing. So, Kirk Cousins, Super Bowl MVP. One of the funniest things that I think I've seen on TikTok in quite some time. Kirk Cousins, Super Bowl MVP. Unbelievable. 49ers are so overrated. Here's the thing. The 49ers have a great roster. It's not even good. It's great. But I saw Brock Purdy play quarterback at Iowa State for 4 years. I saw it. And none of the situations that he was in at Iowa State, he was in none of those situations last year. Don't talk to me about a Raider game that he was behind. The Raiders were awful. I think he only took 26 drop back snaps when they were behind, when the 49ers were behind. 26. Come on, man. That's not game pressure. Every NFL game is pressure. That's not what I'm saying. But you guys know the difference. Game pressure. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter and you're down 10. Go win that game. And he hadn't had to do that yet. And I saw him at Iowa State not be able to do it. I think he takes a step back. And I think the Seahawks take a step forward. And the Seahawks win that division. So, in week 1, you're right. Week 1, when the Steelers win 27-19, you'll be like, man, Big B knew. You'll say it, Big B knew. They're not even 27-17. The Steelers win week 1. They sack Purdy 4 times. He throws a pick. And then you'll be like, dang, how did he know? I'm just telling you. And the one reason I know, get ready for Big B bets. I was going to start it this week with week 0 in college football. I have got some family things that I've got to run out of town. Not to mention, these week 0 games are awful. I'm not doing that. Look, these are like betting on preseason NFL games. I don't do that. So we're not starting Big B bets this week. We're not doing it. We're starting it next week. Next Friday, we are getting it going again. I know we had a ton of fun last year. 52.6% win percentage. A little less than 55 where you want to be. That last weekend killed us. Or better yet, it was bowl season. Killed us. Man. But one of it, I was betting with my heart versus my head when I was picking K-State over Alabama. I'm like, okay. But we're getting Big B bets. We are doing it. Starting next Friday, we'll have college. We'll have pro. Pick a few games of each. Have some fun. We're throwing them out there, man. We're starting to get this thing going, man. It's growing. You guys, it's because of you guys, man. I appreciate everything that you guys have done. You guys have shown up. We started doing this Big B Daily thing this week, and you guys have shown up every day. I appreciate it. Want to get some more people in TikTok? Pass it along. Share the live. Want to get some more people, especially over to YouTube, man. We don't have a ton, but we got some. So, let's see. There's a good question. Chances of the Lions winning the NFC North. Good question. Golf Hawk. I still have the Vikings. I think I think it's going to be a barn burner, but I still pick the Vikings to win it. I could be way off base. This is my chance going out on a limb. I think the Lions roster is better. I think the Lions roster is better, but I think Minnesota has shown that they can win, know how to win, especially close games. I think they win the division. I'm sure at the end of the season, you all are going to all be laughing at me saying, Brian, what are you talking about? And that's probably true because everything tells me that the Lions are going to win that division. But I'm taking the Vikings. So why would it be a feel-good story if the Lions won? Just because their organization has been abysmal basically forever? Well, I shouldn't say forever. Anybody that's either on TikTok Live or YouTube Live, the Lions have been abysmal in your lifetime. They've been nothing but that. Nothing but that. I'm guessing there's no 75-year-olds in here. So that's all I'm saying. City needs a win. I get it. I get it. Browns versus Lions in the Super Bowl. Whew. I don't know about that, man. I don't know. But those are definitely two cities that would need it. Two cities that would need it. All right, man. I appreciate it. I got to run. Thank you guys for joining in. Again, if you're not following me on TikTok, please give me a follow. Anybody that's over on TikTok, please come on over to YouTube and come subscribe to the channel. It's Big B Sports Talk. I appreciate it. We'll be back. Again, we're not back tomorrow. Got to run out of town, but we will be back on Monday. Again, we're Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Come and get it. We're starting Big B Bets on next Friday. Football will be back. Yeah, I know it starts tomorrow, but real football gets going next week with college football. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. All right, man. You guys have a good one.